Another piece of the puzzle is the drug rep. And this would be the lady in the high heels, very short and tight skirt, who comes to doctors' offices and hands out goodies.
The companies are hiring reps that really have no science or medical background. They are not doctors typically, they are not pharmacists, they are not nurses. They're oftentimes business majors and music majors and drama majors, and they're telling your doctors how to prescribe drugs to you, the patient.
And they are given sales goals. They are to call on doctors, to explain the drugs and how the other drugs might not be so helpful, to get the doctor to take these samples, and to prescribe these drugs. Now, when a doctor writes a prescription, that prescription is entered into a database. This information is sold to the drug companies who then use it to give to the drug reps. And so if you are a doctor who's prescribing a lot of the drug, that drug rep is instructed to give you expensive gifts. If your profile falls off, it's also the drug rep that is sent to your office to give you a dressing down. So then you have drug rep as disciplinarian.
I was being told to minimize side effects, that I was disseminating misinformation and disinformation campaigns. I knew that I was not giving fair, balanced information to doctors, therefore doctors couldn't give fair, balanced information to their patients. So I started being disheartened while I was still in the industry about the industry itself, because I knew that the job that I was originally taxed to do, that wasn't what my job was anymore, that my job was a marketing job, that I was there to build the bottom line of the company, that I was there to grow market share and influence physicians' prescribing habits.
While I was a pharmaceutical sales representative, when we were interacting with physicians, we were constantly trying to downplay side effects, minimize side effects, if those questions were raised by the physician. And we were trained to skillfully sidestep those questions and to not provide full disclosure about the potential devastating effects of certain medications. Many medications do not have severe long-term crippling side effects, but others do. And unfortunately and ironically, that's what happened to me. I've been suffering from disabling symptoms now for many years from an antibiotic called Levaquin, which is a fluoroquinolone antibiotic that has a black box warning associated with its use. And despite that warning, it's still being prescribed indiscriminately and without warning to patients. And many people are losing their jobs, they're losing their homes, family, because of the devastating and crippling side effects of Levaquin and Cipro and other fluoroquinolone antibiotics. And I think it's criminal that these drugs are still being prescribed as a first line of treatment for minor infections. Levaquin and Cipro and other fluoroquinolone antibiotics should be reserved for serious and life-threatening infections.
I was very grateful that I had the experience and knowledge that I did about the psychiatric drugs that I had sold, because I identified these were drug reactions. So I knew that as my mental state was deteriorating, that it wasn't me, that I wasn't crazy. You know, this was mediated by the drugs that I had taken. And so I just kept clinging to the fact that I had to have a washout, that I had to detoxify the body from the drug. And so I begged my husband and I begged several of my closest friends to not put me in a mental institution, because I had, visited them in my career, and I knew that once that I got behind those closed doors of that mental institution, that they could do anything they wanted to, including electroshock therapy. So I knew that my recovery depended on the detoxification of my body, and I knew that if I got into the hospital, a detoxification would not be offered to me. I would be pumped full of any kind of drug that they needed in order to, keep me quiet or to restrain me. So it actually took me a period of 12 years to completely detoxify my body and to get back to some semblance of normalcy to where I felt like I was before I had the adverse event.
The other thing that happens with drug reps is that they present data to the doctor that may not be entirely truthful. And this was seen with OxyContin, the pain drug, where drug reps told doctors, these are not addictive. This is different. This is not your run-of-the-mill narcotic. This is the one narcotic known to man that your patient will not get addicted to. And it literally touched off an OxyContin epidemic throughout the United States.
Our drug is clearly the most efficacious.
Vivex offers your patients
unsurpassed clinical efficacy.
Proven efficacy.
This is absolutely the most efficacious drug your patients can use.